Josh is in Oak Creek. Is it Oak Creek, Wisconsin, Josh?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it Oak Creek, Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's Oak Creek, yeah.
Well, Josh, you're on the air. How you doing, sir?
I am doing just fine. Now that I'm talking to you, I just want to say, man, it's an honor to talk to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I could thank you for all the stuff that you've done, but it'll be a hard day. But
Wow.
It's time to get to my question.
Okay.
So, in the next 4 years, what's the vision on the Republican Party?
What's the game plan?
What's the game plan?
Well, Josh, thank you so much for calling. That requires some time for me to answer. So let's get started. The game plan is to stick to principles of the Republican Party: limited government, low taxes, less regulation, strong borders, and a defense that is based upon peace through strength and not strength through peace. That's what we need to stick to. And if we do that, we're going to be just fine. Because there are already some cracks that are developing in the Democratic base that are going to help us. And one of them is the growing hostility that Democrats have towards Israel. I mean, you have people that are blatantly referring to Israel as apartheid. I've never seen that before. Blatantly threatening to cut off funds to Israel during wartime, as Bernie Sanders is doing. I've never seen that before. And that is beginning to tick off even some of the most fervent pro-Democrat Jews. And it's not just the number, because Jews aren't that big of a percentage of the population. It's donors, the donor class. They may dry up. The second thing is this systemic racism narrative is starting to tick off a whole lot of people. You are guilty until proven innocent if you're white. And if you don't believe in all of this, you're a sellout or an Uncle Tom. This is starting to tick off a whole lot of people. And I watch a lot of CNN and MSNBC, so you guys don't have to. And I'm telling you, I'm looking at somebody like James Carville, the crafty James Carville, who helped Bill Clinton get elected and then reelected. He has been criticizing this woke culture. He says it's a problem. And the other day, Paul Begala, one of his top aides, one of Bill Clinton's top campaign people, I think he also worked in his administration, if I'm not mistaken, he said the growing hostility that the Democratic Party has towards Israel is a huge problem. And then you're going to have what I consider to be inflation, raging inflation. We already have it. And there's no plan. The Fed is actually looking for inflation, 2%. We've talked about it with Professor Leo Hanian. It should be 0. And year to year, it's over 4.2%. You've seen gas prices. You've seen food prices. And you think what's going on the borders is a coincidence? Biden, during the debate, said, if I'm elected, there'll be a surge on the border. He wanted there to be a surge on the border. And look what's going on. 178,000 border apprehensions last month. No telling how many got away. Remember what Jay Johnson said in 2019 when there was a, quote, surge on the borders?
Well, first, Mika, thanks for having me. A little bit of context here. When I was in office in Kirstjen Nielsen's job at her desk.
He was Obama's Secretary of Homeland Security.
I'd get to work around 6:30 in the morning, and there'd be my intelligence book sitting on my desk, the PDB, and also the apprehension numbers from the day before. And I'd look at them every morning. It'd be the first thing I'd look at, and I probably got too close to the problem. And my staff will tell you, if it was under 1,000 apprehensions the day before, that was a relatively good number. And if it was above 1,000, it was a relatively bad number, and I was going to be in a bad mood the whole day. On Tuesday, there were 4,000 apprehensions. I know that 1,000 overwhelms the system. I cannot begin to imagine what 4,000 a day looks like. So we are truly in a crisis.
We are truly in a crisis, this man said in 2019 when there were 4,000 border apprehensions a day. Now there are 6,000. If 4,000 was a crisis, what the hell do you think 6,000 is? And again, he was in the Obama administration. Finally, Josh, let's remember how close the election was. According to Steve Kornacki, political analyst on MSNBC that I watched so you don't have to, the election was decided by 40,000 votes in 3 states. That's how close it was. We picked up seats in the House. We did not get wiped out in the Senate as was predicted. So I think the future looks really good.